everybody? Welcome to Capital of Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch.
Rob Jarrell.
And today we're going to recap this past Saturday's UFC 196, which was a huge event which starred the UFC's golden boy Conor McGregor taking on Nate Diaz in a catchweight fight. We'll talking about how that came about as well. And we also had a huge women's bantamweight fight in which Holly Holm, only the second champ of the division, made her first title defense against Tate. We're going to do that one second, actually. We're going to talk about McGregor and Diaz first. Because, I mean, both fights were very significant. But one reason, Rob was unable to catch the Holm-Tate fight, so I'm going to take that one by myself. And secondly, McGregor-Diaz was very complicated. Here's why. Conor McGregor is the 145-pound UFC featherweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
He decided that he was going to go up and challenge the lightweight 155 champion Rafael Dos Anjos.
Mm-hmm.
Dos Anjos gets into a car accident, breaks his foot. He has to pull out. They look for replacements. They call up, they talk to McGregor. They call up Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz had been talking trash to Conor McGregor. He claimed that he stole his whole shtick, and he was going to fuck him up for it. Pardon my language, that's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just quoting him.
That's how he talked. You probably saw the post-fight interview.
Yeah, if you know Nate Diaz, he drops a lot of expletives. So we might be dropping some here as well. We try not to curse a lot, but we may in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because Nate Diaz just fought in December, he won a decision against Michael Johnson at lightweight. He was not in training for a fight. So they came upon the 170-pound catchweight, which is very important because both of these guys were, Conor McGregor, like I said, is the lightweight champ. Mm-hmm. He was moving up to, he was the featherweight champ moving up to lightweight, and Nate Diaz is a lightweight. But they were fighting at the welterweight limit of 170. And I'm going to say, once again, the UFC propaganda got me again. Because I thought, I did not do a preview video for it, but on the Facebook page, I posted my picks. And I picked Conor McGregor to win because I thought Nate Diaz would be out of shape. And not in shape enough to go rounds with Conor McGregor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here is what I forgot to think about. One, Nate Diaz is a much bigger guy than Conor McGregor. And Conor McGregor's a big guy. Like, when he gets down to 145, he's pretty much a zombie. He is completely drained, gaunt, looks close to death.
You could tell every time you see him in the weigh-in.
Yeah. And, he probably walks around, close to 190. But, in making 170, he was not getting into fighting shape like he would have been getting down to 145 or 155.
Mm-hmm.
And now, when you get to Nate Diaz, like I said, he's a bigger man already. He is also a real martial artist. He is a jiu-jitsu black belt. He has boxing experience. And if any of you guys know, to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu is very, very serious.
And it's very, time-consuming. It takes years.
Years, several years, like a decade. So, he's got a base level of conditioning already. And then, when you factor in the fact that McGregor is hitting a larger man in front of the biggest lights, the biggest stage that he's been on so far. He's the headliner. He's making $1 million, the first person guaranteed to make $1 million. there's a lot riding on this fight. So they go in and fight, and he's used to, when he hits a guy at 145, and even when he fought over back in his home country at 155, guys fall down. So he's figuring, I'm gonna hit Nate Diaz, he's gonna fall down. But he's hitting a bigger man. And that takes a lot of conditioning. For someone to try this, try hitting a regular 50 to 75 pound heavy bag, and then go and hit a 150 to 200 pound heavy bag. You will see the difference. You will feel the difference. Conor McGregor felt the difference. Now, he was very accurate because he opened up Nate Diaz pretty badly. Nate Diaz looked very bad at the end of the fight.
Yeah, he landed a lot of uppercuts, and then he ended a lot of his punch sequences with a straight left or a looping left.
Yes, and they were finding their mark early. And that may have been to Diaz having a little bit of cage rust. But what he didn't plan on was that those punches were not hurting Diaz. So Diaz, while he's getting tagged, he's actually countering Conor McGregor. He's countering him with very hard jabs, countering him with body shots, countering him with his own left hands. And because the crowd and the commentators are steadily feeding you the Conor McGregor Kool-Aid, no one's noticing that this is happening except for Nate Diaz.
And Nate Diaz is just the little ones. I'm going to slip in. I'm going to step in with this hard jab. I'm going to hit you with a right-handed slap, a right hook. Just, not super heavy, but because Diaz is used to fighting larger guys, they have a little bit more power on it. And that's how he trains. So it was a slow, methodical breakdown with each punch landed. Something to the body, a short hook here or there. And if you notice, he landed quite a few knees in some of the clinches.
Yes.
Right into the gut of Conor McGregor.
And when you got a bigger man throwing that kind of leather on you, it's going to take its toll. And Conor McGregor got tired. And then he got caught with one of those punches that he was getting caught with the whole fight. But now he's tired, and he probably didn't even know that he was getting tired. Because Nate Diaz is still coming. Nate Diaz is talking trash to him, saying, you ain't got shit. You're a fucking pussy. He's literally saying this to him in the ring.
While slapping him around.
In the face. He literally open-handed slapped Conor McGregor several times. Very disrespectful.
They called it the Stockton slap. That's where he's from, Stockton, California.
Yes. So we've talked about this several times. When a guy, you throw your best shot at somebody and they're like, oh, that's all you got? That's physically demoralizing. It's mentally demoralizing. So from a mental and physical standpoint, Conor McGregor got worn out. So now he's like, what the hell's going on? I'm tired. This guy's starting to land on me. He's talking shit to me. What do? He goes for a takedown.
Mistake.
Yes, because that was the big question mark about Conor McGregor. His ground game. Everyone was like, yo, you get him to the ground, he's going to fold. And for some reason, because like he said himself, mentally, he panicked. So Nate Diaz broke him. So he goes for the desperation takedown.
Sprawl.
He's on the ground with a jiu-jitsu black belt that's much bigger than him. And because he's much more well-rounded, more skilled than him, game over. At that point, it went downhill fast. It was an avalanche of bad news for Conor McGregor. He got ground and pounded, mounted. He gave up his back, gets pounded on some more, immediately gets put in the choke, and taps out. Now, we have to give him props because that was a big undertaking to take on a bigger and stronger man at a weight class that you weren't training for just to save the event.
On the flip side, it was not the smartest move.
No. Now you see why people like John Jones was like, no, I'm not doing this. When they tried to bring in Chael Sonnen when Dan Henderson pulled out of their fight. He's like, I'm not doing that. You're not going to have me fight a completely different fighter at a completely different weight class on short notice. No, that's not smart. You're risking my money. You're risking my legacy. I'm not doing it. But Conor McGregor's like, hey, if I win, I'm the man. They already tout me as the man, but now I'm really the man because I just did something that was unheard of. And then secondly, when it was, like Rob said, it was not a smart move. Because also, when other guys move up in weight, they are training for that weight. They're putting on muscle. They're getting used to fighting those bigger guys. He was not doing that. He was training to fight bigger guys, but not that big.
Not at 160. He weighed in at 168.
Right. And what did Diaz weigh in at? Like 170?
He weighed in at the 170 pound weight limit.
Yeah. So he was not training to fight someone as big as the person he ended up fighting. The chips were not in his corner. And had I not been drinking the UFC Kool-Aid, the propaganda machine that they keep spinning in your head that this guy's the next greatest thing to slice bread, I probably would have remembered all those stuff and be like, hey, this is not looking good for him. But I was like, oh, he's Conor McGregor. He can do it. He couldn't do it. But he tried, and he will be back. Nate Diaz probably earned himself a title shot with that.
And $500,000.
Yeah, and probably I think he got another $100K bonus on top of it. So yeah, and then he probably didn't get a cut of the pay-per-view, but $600,000, not a bad haul. So we'll look forward to see what happens with those next two guys, and let's talk about the women's bantamweight title fight. Now, on the Facebook page, I posted that I thought Holly Holm would win a 3-2, 4-1 type decision against Miesha Tate. And the reason being was that she would be able to maintain her distance, but she was going to take a few hard punches, and she was going to get taken down by Miesha Tate. And I was talking with some of the fans on the page. One of them was like, he thought Holm was going to KO Tate. And I was like, hold on, man. Miesha Tate is no joke. She is very strong. She is a great wrestler. And she has excellent recuperative powers. You can have her out, but she will come back. That's why I thought that Holly would win a pretty close fight that, she wasn't going to look as good as she looked against Rousey. And that's pretty much what we got. But when Miesha Tate took her down, there was nothing Holly could do about it. Like I said, that excellent wrestling ability of Miesha Tate took over. She got great ground and pound. In the second round, she locked in that rear naked choke. Holly fought it off. Big time props to her. In the fifth round, she could not. She ended up passing out, trying to get out of it. She fought until the very, very end to get out of that choke, until her body said, sis, we got to go out. Now, a lot of people are probably wondering, because Rob texted me this after I told him that Miesha won the belt. He's like, hold on, so wait a minute. So Rousey beat Tate twice. Then Holm beats Rousey. And then Tate beats Holm. How does that work? I'll tell you how it worked. There were two things. There was the physical and the mental of why Holly Holm was unable to be taken down by Ronda Rousey, but Miesha Tate was able to take her down. One, the mental aspect. Now get ready. Some of you guys may need some preparation H after I make these statements, because in the Rousey Holm recap, Rob mentioned something and everyone got so upset about it.
I'll be the bad guy. I don't mind being the bad guy.
Rob was like, hey, Ronda Rousey decided she was going to strike with Holly Holm, and that was a big mistake. And people were like, no, she didn't. No, she didn't. Yes, she did.
There were several videos who saying that was not her plan. That was just the best plan for. Get out of here.
Now, us being students of the game, we listen to the coaches, because I myself am a coach, and I like to hear what they have to say and what they plan and all of those things. Her coach, Edmund Tavarian, was saying that Ronda Rousey was knocking out female boxing champions. They said several times that they believed that Ronda could outstrike Holly Holm. So they went into that fight believing that they were going to outstrike Holly Holm. Now we know that was a very big mistake, but then if you listen to him during the fight, he was trying to coach her the whole time on how to outstrike her. I'll even put the link below. They have a transcript of what he was saying during the fight, word for word, and at not one point did he say, try to take her down.
Not work your way in and take her down. No.
No, he wanted her to outstrike her. They were trying to prove a point. Unfortunately, it did not work. Secondly, the way Ronda takes people down is differently from the way Miesha takes people down. Now, Ronda, being a judoka, likes to throw people. And most of the people she fought were physically smaller than her. She started out her career at 145 and dropped down. I'm not going to say why. She wanted to fight for 135 title. That's why she dropped down. So she was physically bigger than all of the women she fought at 135, and you could see it, with the exception of maybe Miesha Tate and Kat Zingano. Those are also two big lightweights. They're very muscular women and very strong, and she beat them with technique. Now, what Ronda does is she comes in with her punches to get you in the clinch and throw you. Unfortunately, Holly was able to counter that because they saw it coming the whole way, because they knew that's what she does.
Usually a hip toss.
Yes. Miesha Tate, on the other hand, countered Holly's straight left hand with takedowns. And to do that, she did level changes. You got your left shoulder back here. What she did is when Holly threw a punch through that left hand, she ducked under it. See, I'm nowhere in the shot anymore. And then went for her hips. Ronda Rousey went up here and tried to throw her with her hips. And Holly had that scouted, ready to go. She did not have Miesha's takedown scouted, so it worked. Now, she did stuff several others afterwards, but Miesha kept at it. She kept changing levels, she kept throwing feints, and she also laid back off of Holly Holm, unlike Ronda, who charged incessantly over and over again with no other plan B or strategy thereof, because it worked on everyone else. Miesha took account of that and said, hey, Holly likes to counterbutch. I'm not going to give her those opportunities. So Holly relied more on her sidekick to score points, and she was winning because of it. But the takedown was still there. And eventually Miesha got it. And she was able to exploit Holly's lack of a ground game. She has it, but not as educated as Miesha Tate, as you saw. So she was able to change levels and take Holly down that way, as opposed to how Ronda was trying to use her upper body and hands to force the takedown. Miesha used good old classic wrestling technique and was able to get the choke in the end.
Moral of the story, styles make fights.
Bam. So, where do we go from here? Dana White has said, Miesha Tate, Ronda Rousey 3. No questions asked. Holly gets no rematch. Sorry, Holly. You know, that's messed up, but that's the way they do things.
More political stuff that we don't feel the need to get into.
Yes, we all know how they do. So, that's the one we look forward to. Ronda Rousey is already 2-0 against Miesha Tate. But maybe Miesha has learned. She has gotten a lot better, honestly, since her second loss to Ronda Rousey. She's beaten Sarah McMahon, who was a Olympic silver medalist. She's beaten several other contenders at the weight class. She's now beaten the champ at the weight class, who was undeniably the best striker in women's MMA next to Joanna Jędrzejczyk. I can never get that last name right, but I think I did.
Mm-hmm.
But those are the two best female strikers, and Miesha's beaten one of them. The other one competes at 115, so, you know, that's neither here nor there. So, we're going to wait until Ronda comes back so Miesha can have her final chance at beating Ronda Rousey. I think we got it all out there.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like this video. If you have not yet, subscribe down below. Hit us up with any comments. You can get us at Facebook, Google+, and Instagram at Capital Combat, capitalcombat@gmail.com. Any questions you got, we'll hit you back. That's it. We'll see you in the next episode. Peace.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.